I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I got this figured out or not. Well, let's give it a shot, man. It is what it is, man. It's technology. It sucks. I hate it. It pisses me off. Everything works great. You know what I'm saying? Until you actually got to do something. You know, it's just like most people talk shit until they actually have to do something. Welcome to the program, folks. Rocci Stucci here, the Rocci Stucci Show. I'm irritated, because everything was working great up until go time, and then all of a sudden everything was gone. And then here I am, running around like an idiot with my head cut off, trying to figure out why my sound disappeared and don't know what happened. I just reset my program and everything's working again. So, that's the reality of my life. I don't know how you doing today on your happy fucking hump day. You know what I mean? Anyways, so let me make sure, everything's coming through. Let me get everything back up because I rushed. You guys, let me know. What am I doing here? Let me know if you're getting, let me know if you are getting, there he is, Josh Kemp. There's Carly. Welcome back. Everything okay? Loud and clear right there. Roger Rabbit says, outstanding. All right, well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. The Rocci Stucci Show. Go to stuccimedia.com. We're adding the podcast, the shows. We got a whole bunch of media on there. It gets updated daily. It's not just shows. It's content. It's all different types of stuff. So if you go to stuccimedia.com, as you see over here, over here, right there, Trump. That is from stuccimedia.com. It's going to be one of the articles that I referenced today in regards to, I got a typo there. Good job, Meatball. In regards to some of the situations going on with some of the countries that owe us a bunch of money and shit, no big deal, right? It's so weird because I don't even know what to talk about sometimes because last night I watched, and I'll play the video and think maybe second segment we'll go into that, that CERN and this portal stuff. There's people that are official reports that they're creating these wormholes and these creatures are coming out. It's some kind of a creature, some kind of entities are coming out of this. And, it kind of validates a lot of what we've talked about in the past with abnormal realities and the paranormal stuff and all that other kind of crazy stuff, right? It kind of validates a lot of what we've already talked about. But we can go even further, kind of what we talked about yesterday, a little bit, or the day before, already losing track of what days I'm talking about shit. When we talk about these things in the sky right now, and we talk about these UFOs and, some of it's Lockheed Martin, some of it's not, some of it is real aliens, some of it's, I don't know what it is. Interdimensional stuff, right? We don't really know, but we kind of know. We try to know. And I was talking to Aaron Parker last night about this. And I says, you can even go back to the Renaissance era. It's not, a lot of these people are referencing the UFOs in the Bible. They're not in the Bible. These paintings that a lot of people referenced were from the Renaissance era, 1500s, 1400s, where they have depictions of what looks like to be UFOs, unidentified objects in the sky. We can legitimately say that that's a fact. It's an unidentified object in the sky of pictures of like Mother Mary and Jesus and weird things. So, these orbs kind of change things that we've witnessed here recently. And then I seen that CERN, that article, or that interview. It's an interview, so we'll listen to the audio, about this lady talking about what's happening. We knew that there's all these little mini black holes that they were creating. But apparently that there's entities, like paranormal type of creatures that are coming out of these interdimensional spaces. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if they're capturing. I don't know if they put them back, if they reverse it, if they put the thing in reverse and go backwards, if things kind of change. But we'll cover that here in just a little bit. We're going to stick to the time clock just for sake-keeping. But we'll cover that in the second segment. And I'm really interested in your guys' opinion in all this because I know a lot of people within my community, we've talked about this for a very, very, very long time. Roger Rabbit says, holes with creatures coming out. So, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, bro. We're going there, too. We are going there. Roger Rabbit, my man. I want to cover this really quick, though. It's going to be lightly political, but I think this is super profound that we talk about this because we talk about the struggles, man, and the psychological beating that everybody takes just trying to live, just trying to survive and trying to get through this bullshit matrix that we're always trying to get through, right? And it seems like we never get room to breathe. We never get room to breathe. It's like whenever we think that, we're going to get a step ahead, or whenever we think we got something taken care of, there's always some other kind of bullshit that pops up that's just debilitating. And then we find ourselves in this constant exhaustive state. You know what I'm saying? It's exhausting. Trying to deal with the system that modern society has created has become so debilitating. There's so many, here's a perfect example. This is how policies destroy everything. Fire trucks. There were 60 fire trucks that were waiting for inspection that were not going to get improved, or they had to wait because of policies, procedural type of things. This is how we dictate our lives, right? So even in the court of law, see, this is where I'm kind of conflicted sometimes when it comes to courts. If you get some piece of shit murderer that has done horrifying things, and there is no dispute in regards to evidence, but because of how it can be presented on a piece of paper is going to determine whether he does time or not, right? So if he is a master criminal and he does everything correctly during his crime, he won't go to jail. And so I'm kind of conflicted sometimes, because sometimes I just think that, it's the whole, I get the crafting. I get that we need that guidance. I get that, there's so many different types of people, so many different types of faith that it's hard for us to come to a singular decision on something because everybody's incorporating their shit. What am I talking about? You know what I'm saying, Roger? You know what I'm talking about, Roger? But it just seems like every time we try to catch our breath, we can't. I completely had a brain fart. I have no idea where I was just going there. Damn, you ought to correct. Wait, what's going on, man? What's going on with Rod? My face right back. Yeah, it is. Dude, I'm back, bro. You're going to have to deal with all this ADHD stuff. You're going to have to deal with all of it. But the amount of people whose lives have been completely turned upside down because of a procedure. So we'll sit here and criminals will get away scot-free because of a procedural situation. There will be firefighters with 60 fire trucks during a catastrophic event in our country where an entire city is on fire, and we'll sit here and follow procedural practices because the policies that were written say that you need to have somebody here with that clipboard that checks that box that says you're okay to go down that street. Sooner or later, we need to kind of snap out of that robotic bullshit. And even when I was managing at Lockheed Martin, managing at 3M, I never challenged the system. I just wasn't the system. So I came off as I was challenging the system. I never challenged the system. I just understood that the people that worked for me weren't robots. They were humans. And I lead through empathy. I'm a big fan of leadership through empathy, empathetic leadership. You got to be solid, man. You got to have some bigger balls when you lead through empathy because, just like drug addicts, people pull on your emotional strings. So if you show compassion as a leader, if you show compassion in the workplace, people appreciate it, but people will take advantage of it, 100%. So it's just like, when is it our turn to breathe? And so I'm looking at this article here on StucciMedia.com, by the way. If you go to StucciMedia.com, you can find this article right here where Trump announces the new government to help collect money. But not from Americans for once, and I think this was the first thing that caught my attention was the fact that he was going to start another section of the IRS that has nothing to do with going after and attacking American citizens. It's going after, let's say Donald Trump announced the creation of a powerful new government agency that will collect billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from foreign countries. I don't know. I think that sounds pretty legit. I think that sounds pretty legit because we have sat here and we've sat on our hands. And I don't even know if we know how much all these other countries really owe us, and we become the bitch. I don't know any other better way to put it. We have become the bitch for the rest of the world. We pay everybody's bills. We pay for everybody's weapons. We pay for everything, because it's mafia tactics, right? We take care of you because we're going to be coming back later and asking for favors. But, I get sick and tired as a middle-class American. No, I don't even say I'm middle-class anymore with all the bullshit that's happened. I'm at poverty class now because I'm dependent. I'm medically dependent. And so, when you become medically dependent, that means that you can't work. You can't work. And so that means you're at the fucking mercy of this monster that we call freedom. You're at the mercy of that. And you get your life destroyed. You're at the mercy of who was ever in front of you with that prescription pad and all the things that they think is right or wrong for you. That's where you're at. So you cannot get sick in this country. Mary Mansfield, what's going on? Oh, Mary's dropping some BS in the morning? Whoa, girl. What's up? Carly, I know you know. I know you guys know out of all people here. A child with a disability, it's just like you have no choice but to dance in this bullshit your whole life. And I know, Carly, you have disabilities. And so it's just like, you're at the mercy of that. So I lost everything at the mercy of that. And you become bitter. And so you sit here and you hear of like the Ukraine constantly getting money, constantly getting billions. And all these people on the left, they always want to sit here and try to justify it. It's just like, no, when they're driving around Rolls Royces in the Ukraine and in this city where it's supposed to be the epicenter of the conflict. It's supposed to be like the hub where all the bad shit's happening, right? There's more nightclubs there now than there was before the war started. And I just don't understand that if people are living better in the Ukraine and they're driving really nice cars and all the politicians are doing really well, then why do the taxpayers need to continue to send billions of dollars over there and continue to send weapons over there? I just don't understand the logic behind that, unless there's corruption, which we know there is, right? So it's just like when you have the majority of Americans in our country that are struggling, independent in many different ways, and that one little time a year, maybe 2 times a year, we get a little breath. We're like, holy shit, okay, this month we got everything covered, man, we're good. We don't have to worry about things. Every once in a while you get lucky. But then there's that one little thing that sets you back. That one little thing will set you back. Why don't we hold the same accountability in regards to collections to other countries like the IRS does with us, with American citizens? I mean, my God, how many agents did they just hire again within the last couple of years because they wanted a hit squad? So it's okay for politicians to do illegal, corrupt shit. It's okay for like Ocasio-Cortez, for her funky stankin' ass to be coming up into a politician, to becoming a politician, literally couldn't afford an outfit. She literally could not afford an outfit when she became a politician. She was as broke as us. She was us, really. That's what she was. She was a bartender. She was broke. She was just trying to figure shit out. And she got selected to be the psychopath. She got selected by the puppet masters to be the psychopath, the radical psychopath. And now she's worth like $37 million. $27 million. It was way up there. It was in the 20s or 30s. I know that. So you start out, 6 years ago? I don't know. Was it 8 years ago? I can't remember how long ago she was in office. You start out completely broke. You're at $100 and some thousand a year salary. Let's just say $180,000 a year salary. How the fuck do you become a multimillionaire in such a short time without not knowing certain things, or without not getting paid off for being a radical piece of shit? And instead of making your location and your area where you represent better, you turned it into a radicalized zombie apocalyptic nightmare is what you did. No different than Ilhan Omar in the country of Minnesota. I don't look at Minnesota as the state anymore. Once they changed their flag, they abandoned their country. That's what the state of Minnesota did. When they changed their flag to almost resemble the Somalian flag, they turned their back on every single Minnesotan that has lived in that country since the birth of it. They turned their back on it to support radicalism. We're no longer that United States, right? We're no longer that United States. We become, let's find areas to build. So we'll put the Somalians here, we'll put the Hmongs here, we'll put the Chinese over here, we'll put these people over here, and then we'll start building our Hind armies. So why haven't we gone after these countries to collect our debt? We keep being reminded how much money we owe China. I don't give a shit about how much money we owe China. I mean, if we want to sit here and look at the damage that China has done to this country in regards to hacking us, to stealing patents, to shutting businesses down, to all the bullshit that country has done, Yet we sit here talking about Russia. I don't care. I care about the United States. You know, that's why they went after the whole nationalism term, right? Because, you know, I don't think if you use the term correctly as a nationalist, because what we do is we weaponize language. We weaponize language. So, you know, just like not the Nazi symbol. We weaponize that, right? That was a symbol of peace from Native Americans. That goes all the way back to ancient Egypt, right? But of course, we have to grab something that represents peace and turn it into the complete opposite. We always have to weaponize any kind of language to make sure that whatever we want suits us. And that's what we do here now. That's the world that we live in. The N-word is the most hypocritical word that I've ever seen in my fucking life. It's like, this is how, let me explain the stupidity of human beings in regards to allowing emotions to dictate our reality. The N-word, no, I guess there's two N-words. I'm not referring to the Nazi word. I'm referring to the other one where it either ends in an A or an R, right? So here's how this works. I'm kind of confused because this changes, right? So white people can't say it unless you have special, super special permission from certain people, and you have to, without a doubt, use it with an A at the end, right? Okay, so we got to end it with an A at the end. Black people can sit there and use it in every sentence. They can call themselves that in a derogatory way. They can sit there and look at every single person as that. And they can say it as much as they want. They can call me that. They can call me a cracker. They can call me whatever derogatory slang they want, because we don't have anything at the white side that's classified as like lose your shit if you get called this, right? Like we haven't been programmed enough yet to be a victim of a word. I haven't been, at least. So we sit here and it's in every song. We see them call themselves that on TV all the time. But if a white person says it, even says it with an, or a black person who's a wigger, a black person who acts white, right? If they say it, apparently they can't say it either, because the rules, right? So you know, I don't know who makes these rules, but I just want to remind the world in regards to the N-word how fucking stupid we are, because for one, that we choose to empower language. We choose to empower a word because it allows us to get away with the shit we want. It allows us to be a victim. It allows us to say we're a victim of oppression. It allows us to be a piece of shit, and it allows us to be violent towards anybody who's not us, because all they have to do is say they called me the N-word. And they get away with it. They get away with it. And it's disgusting, really. It's disgusting. I am so sick and tired of the stupidity that we have to swim around sometimes. It's just like, okay, here's the thing. Two things. Ocasio-Cortez, politicians, you live by the same fucking standard that we live by, because you're the one who produces the standard for us. And number two, if you're offended by a word, then you don't say the word. Can we agree on those two things? So what you give to the people you represent, you get back. What you say I can't say, you can't say either. Why don't we do that? Why don't we stop looking like a bunch of hypocritical animals and actually practice the same integrity that we preach? Can we try that once? Maybe. I don't know. We can. I would like to. Doubt it's ever going to happen. I really have a problem in the political realm that these hot dog licking, whatever they are. Ooh, God, I wanted to say something really bad. It's a little early for certain language, but not really in my world, because I was up since 2, right? I woke up choking last night. I'll tell you about it later. I got a problem with the fact that politicians become multimillionaires preaching to us. It's like having an HR rep. Some of these new age HR reps, let me tell you something about these HR reps. Okay, let me tell you something. These HR reps, and gentlemen, and I don't mean to be a stereotype, but I am referring to you men right now. If you're at work and you get an HR ticket, or you need to go in the office, and the HR representative is a female with kind of a mustache, get the fuck out, bro. Just quit. Just quit, because we have a new age type of monster working in the human resource department in these big corporations, and a lot of them don't seem to like men. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. But it's no longer a human resource. What HR has become within corporations just like within governments, just like with all the shit we're talking about, hospitals, policies, everything. HR has become a representation, a front line for the corporations, just like Sedgwick. Sedgwick is supposed to help people on disability and short-term disability and make sure that you get your medical. What does Sedgwick do? What do they do to me? They decide they have this little game that they play with people is they cancel your insurance. And then they have to make you fight for it for the next 4 months and make you feel like a degraded piece of shit while you starve and have to go to food shelves. That's what Sedgwick does. We give them that power to do that. We say it's okay, you do that. They're not even governmental. They're a private fucking company that gets hired by corporations, and these corporations say, you need to save me money. So how do I save you money? I take away from sick people. That's what I do. That's the American attitude that we live in today, is that we have Americans willing, because of a fucking job, to sit here and make their fellow Americans homeless just to make sure they get their weekly paycheck. I had a guy at Lockheed. I got a book coming out that's going to be a lot of my experience at Lockheed Martin and some other things that happen in Texas. That's all going to be in a book. Oh, shit, what was I going to talk about? What was I just going to say? I had to bring up the damn book and just threw off my ADHD. I do that shit, man. I had a guy, one of my employees. This is the American attitude that we have now, this new age shit. One of my employees, it's great freaking dude. His mom had dementia, older lady. He was older too, you know, so his mom was up there. She was late 70s, maybe early 80s, maybe older, maybe even older. I can't remember. And she was going through a lot of health issues, and he was the caregiver. And she fell down the stairs at home. And first, he spent time, man, looking for me in the warehouse. And I had a lot of employees. In totality, multiple locations, I had about 90 employees at Lockheed. 8 TACMs is what I made, believe it or not. HR found out about this a couple months later, because when he found me, I was just like, why are you even looking for me, bro? Why are you even looking for me? You should already be on the road. Fuck, there's nothing on this planet, dude. When it comes to a family emergency, there's nothing or person on this planet more important than the family or the people that need your help. Right? I know bosses will make you feel, because a lot of people become bosses because they're bullied when they're kids. That's something I've learned through my years of experience, is that a lot of people in positions of authority have not had it in certain times of their life. So they go into positions of authority to make that balance, right? It's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't know how to entertain that, right? They don't know how to handle that authority. So HR came out to me. They called a big meeting, man. They called a big meeting. You know, oh, shit, here comes the meeting, you know. And they knew that meetings with me was never going to be easy. I guarantee you, they knew that meetings with me was never going to be easy. And I came into the office, and they're like, well, we have a situation. I go, what's the situation? About, you know, so-and-so. And they're like, well, he didn't have any more. They were like, he didn't have any more sick time left. I'm like, yeah, I was aware of that. He didn't have any more vacation time left. Well, absolutely he didn't. Correct. He didn't. He didn't. Here. Let me help you out. So-and-so did not have any sick time. He did not have any vacation time. And yes, I allowed him to leave, and I told him that I'm approving his absence. Not paid, but approved. Well, they wanted me to change it. This is Lockheed. They wanted me to change it. They wanted me to change it because they wanted me to change it to an unauthorized absence. And they also wanted me to go after him for time. What do they call that? Missed time, where your time, where you're putting in the wrong time. And that's how Lockheed goes after their hourly employees, is time management. They'll find a couple minute discrepancy in their time card and fire them. And that saves them a lot. And most people can't afford the attorneys to go after them and sue their sorry asses, but I will. And I refuse to do it. I refuse to. They're like, well, what do you mean? I said, I will not do it. I says, if you want to write up him, because his mother, who he is the legal caregiver for, if you want to put him on paper because he chose to go to his mom's rescue, which is one, his legal obligation, and two, it's his mother, because he went to go assist his mother in an emergency because she fell down the stairs. You want to go after him because he didn't have enough vacation hours. You want to go after him because he didn't have no sick time. You want to go after him for mischarging because he left. And you didn't say it was okay, but I'm his authority. I said it was okay. So you have to fire me first. That's what you have to do. You have to write me up. You have to do whatever you have to do because I said, I refuse. I refused 100%. I will not write him up. I walked right out of that office. And it was right around that time I had a big confrontation with all the leadership, telling them and going after them for how they weaponized their policies. And these are things that are going to be in the book, right? There's stories that will blow your effing mind on the mistreatment of employees at Lockheed Martin. I'm going to tell you something. It's disgusting. And these are the class of people that you thought were supposed to be better, right? These are all the people that are going at Lockheed. There's a lot of A&M. Is it A&M or A&E? It's Texas A&M. There's a lot of A&M employees at Lockheed. And boy, they like to let you know where they went to school. Man, it's like a little cult, right? They all got the gold rings. That's why you always hear me reference the gold ringers, people wearing the gold ring. I'm referring to the people from Texas A&M that worked at Lockheed. They're like a cult, man. It was, and these people had zero life experience. These are people that lived a very good life, good for them, but they have no real life experience. So you had this kid, right, whose daddy was a doctor all his life. He got sent to Texas A&M. I mean, he barely got to finger a chick in college. You know what I'm saying? He has that much little experience. And somehow, and most of my employees were old roughnecks, right? So most of my employees came from the oil fields. And if anybody knows the oil field type of men, right? They're ruthless. I love them. They're raw. And they don't give a shit, bro. They give me goosebumps. You know what I'm saying, bro? Because I say funny shit. Yeah. What am I saying? HR. What's up? Mr. Barker. I talked to Aaron Barker yesterday. I talked to Aaron about weaponizing their policy. I accused them of it. I told them that's what they do because of some situations that were going on there. But yeah, so I refused, man. I would not do it. But this is going all the way back, man, to what I was saying at the beginning. When we talk about these fire trucks we have a state burning down, right? Let's get to the reality of our species for a second. We have a city that was burning down. Any policy should have went out the door instantly, really. Any policy should have went out the door instantly in regards to, inspections. Inspections. And I don't know, man, there's some fishy shit going on in regards to North Carolina, Hawaii, and you already have Newsom talking about these smart cities. Man, he's already coming up with a plan, you know? He's already coming up with a plan. All this scares me. This whole robotic corporatocracy that we live in, sometimes in life, you can't be led by a policy. You know, we can't, there's not a right way. There's not a right way in anything we do. We don't know what right is. Right is only how we choose to perceive things. That's it. If somebody, here. I get contacted all the time for people, they want consults. I'm uncomfortable with that. They want to do consults on their shows or they want to start a show and they want to talk with me and have me give them whatever. And it's like, I don't know what to say to you. You know, I know what I know, but I don't know if I know what's right. Because what is right in radio? What's wrong in radio? What is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm told by a lot of people all the time what's right and wrong. But if you're truly an independent thinker and you're truly trying to be independent and to be yourself, well, then you have to not think like everybody else. And that's difficult. And that's when you realize how much you actually do think like everybody else. And it's kind of frightening. It's almost like a singularity. I mean, it's like we're almost kind of there, right? When we think of singularity, we're just like everybody thinks of the exact same thing. It's just like, no, we're kind of close, man, in this weird philosophical way, you know? We're kind of already kind of getting to the singularity. It's kind of frightening, really. So I hope that Trump goes after, and he ain't going to get no money. He ain't going to collect no debt. I forgot I was talking about that story. How the hell did I get off on all that? But yeah, we need to break. We go into treatment. And we have people in treatment facilities, God bless their hearts for wanting to do amazing things for people. But it's like, how do you advise people? I'm a recovering drug addict, man. I was the best, right? My favorites were pills. I loved them. But I've done every drug on the planet. And then some. Yeah, if there was alien shit, I would probably have tried that too, you know? If they would have came sooner. But when somebody asks me what's the right way, I don't know anymore. Even to this day, even with 51 years of experience in my life, it seems like I know less. It's like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know shit. And that's a real thing. And so there's times that I'm hesitant, like when somebody will call me up, I'll critique a show, but don't talk to me in a way that you're looking for an answer from me because I don't know what right and wrong is anymore. I was told that the way I lived my life was wrong. So I changed my life to find out that there's more monsters in suits than monsters in regular clothes. I learned that there's more hypocrisy within the religious realm than the people that aren't religious. I found that there's more spiritual strength and more relationships in Jesus in broken communities, in the homeless communities, in the recovering addict communities, in the communities where people don't have a lot. I don't see that in the communities where people choose money as a god instead of God as a god, right? It's horrifying almost how people change in regards to comfort. And maybe I was talking to Aaron yesterday. I was talking to Aaron Barker yesterday. And there's a couple of things that, we're just pissed off about. We're just pissed off about, and a lot of it has to do with society and the bullshit, right? We go our whole life being taught that this way we do things is supposed to be the way, and then we find ourselves as hollow people. And the unindoctrination process, man, is rough. It's rough. And it's okay to be pissed. I'm kind of tired. And I think sometimes I say it because I bottle this shit up because I ain't got time for bullshit. But, I see people always trying to justify their pain. And it's just like, when do we stop justifying the pain? When we always try to come up with a way in our mind to say that, this is probably for the best. Or this happened for a reason. It's like, no, sometimes people are just pieces of shit. And sometimes life just sucks, and it's okay to say it. You don't need to be, Mr. or Mrs. fucking optimistic all the time. It's okay. That's something I've been trying to teach myself. I don't tell people 90% of my life because I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated, I don't like this world having dictatorial power over my life. I don't like the fact that my living condition right now has to do with not anybody in my home, but the bullshit system that we live in. So am I bitter? Yeah. Am I going to be loud about it? Yeah. Am I going to use a language that's going to offend people? You're fucking right I am. Why? Because I spent years trying to blend into your world. I spent years trying to blend into your world. And now I'm taking mine back. So, I ain't for everybody. And I get that. I ain't for everybody. And if people stick around long enough to know my story and know where I come from and know the fights that I fought, then they understand why I am the way that I am. And that's why I try not to judge people for their struggles. But I get so frustrated with the fakery. I get so frustrated with the egos. I get so frustrated with the narcissism. It just gets old. It just gets old. And politically, I'm so burnt out of politics. So instead of talking about politics all the time, I want to talk about the issues that are affecting us. And who the fuck do we need to call to the carpet? That's what I want to do. And I really want to call people to the carpet. If people are going to go around, I had oh God, do I even bring it up? I had a conversation. It was an altercation with a bigwig, a super substantial person within the conservative world, owner of a big network. Okay. And he wanted to meet me. Don't know why, but he wanted to meet me. And I was at an event. And so-and-so came out to me and says, hey, so-and-so's right here. He wants to meet you. And I looked at him. I says, no, I don't want. Not interested, bro. Not interested in your ass. And I was pissed. I was actually really crabby. I think I was getting ready for a surgery, or I just got done with surgery. And so, I was kind of recovering. So mentally, I was just like, F off. I was helping a friend out at an event. And dude looks at me. He's kind of baffled. He's, well, I don't understand. What do you mean? I don't have time for you. Let me explain to you exactly what I mean by that. You can see the veins coming out of my shit. It's like, okay, bro, I just watched you on stage. I watched you on stage for 20 minutes. The first 10 minutes, bro, you were talking about Jesus. And it's really hard for me, Rocci Stucci, to sit here and to listen to people talk about Jesus because I know you, right? I know you when people aren't watching, right? I know what you do when people don't know what you're doing, right? So it's kind of hard for me to take your message in front of people serious. But this dude was up on stage for at least 10 minutes just preaching. And he was your typical Southern Baptist preacher, had the handkerchief wiping the fat ass sweat off his forehead and bigger guy. And just, he was into it, man. I was getting chills. That don't happen with me. So I was like, wow, we're having a profound moment. And instantly, within almost the same lung capacity of oxygen, he starts talking this vile hatred towards liberals. And then I pan out to the audience, and I'm looking at all these people in the audience that were just way into everything he was saying, man. They're way into it. And that's the power of what we do. And that's a responsibility, right? And the problem is that we're too busy going after the clicks, pleasing corporations. I don't know what we're chasing anymore. How about passion? Why don't we get back to that? How about what we want, not what they want, right? Because we can sit here and do radio what everybody else wants, and you're always going to feel hollow. You're not going to have fun doing it. But if you do radio when you do what you love doing, there's real passion behind that, and people feel that in your message. They feel that in your rawness. So that's why talking about life, to me, is really important, because I've been there, I've done it, man. I was an enforcer. I never graduated from high school. Somehow I get clearance and I start managing at Lockheed Martin. I got a pretty good media company, and I'm pretty fucking good at doing media videos and all that other kind of stuff. I was so mad that he would get up on stage and he, such a mixed message. And that's almost the entire industry. It's just like, dude, you don't need to use Jesus as a marketing tool. You can say that you follow Jesus and be like, I'm an imperfect human being and talk about buttholes. It's okay. It's okay that you say the F word every once in a while, because, compared to the things you do behind the scenes when people aren't looking is uncomparable, comparatively speaking. And when we do that, we're sending the message to people that look up to our message that, yeah, love Jesus, but hate anybody who doesn't think politically like you. And I don't understand that message, right? So I was talking to Aaron Barker last night. I told him, I'm not a biblical guy, man. I'm just not. I won't spend time debating scripture because it can never be proven one way or the other. So why debate something that you can't prove? All we're trying to prove now is whose theory we think is more accurate. I've known people that have debated scripture their whole life, and they're at the end stages of their life, and they have no spiritual identity because everything had to be about facts and factual. So, when we get up there, and I'll follow the message of Jesus, man. I will go sit with the homeless. I will eat with the homeless. I'll wash their feet. I won't judge a prostitute. I won't judge any of that. I won't. I usually don't judge homeless people. I can kind of gauge what kind of homeless person they are and why they're homeless. But and maybe it's what I was supposed to. Maybe all this was necessary. And I don't want to say it is, because I'm kind of sick and tired of justifying pain. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of justifying saying it's some kind of part of a lesson. But in this weird way, you start thinking about some of these lessons, and they're so valuable. And that's the part I struggle with the most, is that these lessons that are pissing me off the most right now, the things that are being taken away, as painful and humiliating as it is, the true depth of the thought is that these are some of the most profound, valuable, painful lessons that I've ever experienced. It's kind of like a rebalance of humility. I don't know, but I just know that financially, how I would live today compared to how I would live 5 years ago is completely different. My views on certain things, life was very fast for me. It kind of is still. I was up at 2 a.m. I shouldn't even compare that part. I'm still moving pretty fast. I'm trying to slow down. But when you feel like you're always up against the world, you never can seem to relax, almost. Especially in this industry. And I'll tell you guys, here's the best advice I can give you. If you're ever going to get in this industry, be careful of those always trying to spread narratives. Those are the most dangerous people to work for, because those are the people that are always creating potholes. So when you get people that run up to you And they instantly are trying to sell you, whether to like or dislike the business practices or the personalities of people. The first thing you should ask is, what's their fucking motive? Because this is one of the most cutthroat industries I've ever seen in my life. And the things that people do to each other for gain, the things that people do to each other just to get an extra selfie, or notoriety, or this pseudo I'm a good person bullshit. It's crazy what they go through for that one little moment of glory. And they will sell the whole world out just to get it. They'll sell the whole world out just to get it. That's the craziest shit. So anyways, this kind of a shorter broadcast. I don't know what my problem was, man, when I started. I wasn't getting no outs. My output sound wasn't going. And I noticed it right when I went hot. So I couldn't make the adjustment beforehand. So I thank you for your patience on that. It was the third day. I lost my shit. I don't know if you guys know. No, you don't know, because I wasn't hot on the microphone. It just seems one of those moments, right? So it happened. I got out the air and I'm like, fuck. You know, you get sick of the shit. And you know what that's called? It's not called being a monster. It's not called crazy. It's called being pissed off. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I think sometimes we try to figure this shit out too much. I know I do. I push reality. I try to carve my own reality. And it hurts. It hurts. Because whether we like it or not, things are going to happen or they're not. I just am a very impatient person sometimes. And you know, when you're in certain situations in your life, you don't have time to wait. And you don't have time to be at the mercy of the world. And it seems like you're hyper focused on all the times you have to wait. Even at stop signs now, I'm just like, damn, this thing's taking forever. And Lisa would be like, it's only been like 10 seconds. I'm like, well, it feels like forever, man. I got to poop. I hate having to travel poop. You know what I'm saying? I hate going into public bathrooms. I do. I hate it, man. I hate it. I got a little system when I travel on the kind of shorts I wear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did. Hey, if anybody's looking, if you need any kind of memes, if you need any kind of graphics, if you need videos, if you need a website done, if you need your website checked out for SEO, man, I'm your guy. Mobsterproductions.org is my company. You can just go to Stucci Media. You can just contact me however you need to contact me. Let me know what you need, and we'll work out a really great price for you guys to get you well taken care of. Man, I got a bunch of, let me go. I want to read some comments here. I got to try to stick to my pattern. The first day on Monday, I didn't do not one read. I didn't talk about my pillow. I didn't talk about my website. I gagged a couple times before I freaking started. You know what I'm saying, Roger? You know what I'm saying, bro? All right, let's see what we got here. Roger Rebel, holes with creatures coming out. Oh, bro, I just read that comment again. That's subliminal. There's a message there. Let's cover that tomorrow. Let's talk about CERN. So this is what we'll cover tomorrow. We'll talk about CERN. We'll talk about interdimensional creatures and Nancy Pelosi. How's that sound? Because I'm starting to think, man, like if you look at her and if you pulled some of that skin off her face, I think there may be some creature shit going up in there. You know what I'm saying, bro? All right. Yeah, once stuck in the system, it's tough to get out. That's a fact, brother. Now, I was on, after my motorcycle accident, I was on disability. I was on Social Security disability. And I could still be on it if I wanted to. I just wanted to work. And so I went and I got a job and I was making like 20 cents more than I should. You can only make I was making like 12 bucks an hour. And you literally have to make poverty pay to keep your disability. And I was only making $1,300 a month. And so they thought that $1,300 a month was enough to feed 3 boys and a wife, right? And so I went, I got this little site. I think it was a cook's job. I was cooking, in a little freaking dive restaurant. And they came after me, man. They went after a whole year. And I had to repay back a whole year of my disability because I wanted to go give food and work and be a contributing member of society instead of being that. And they punished me for it. They punished me for it. Even though I only worked at the job for like a month, where I could have been like, okay, so if I was to add up the 20 cents and I'm making extra an hour, we're talking a difference of maybe I made $40 more than I should have. And they went after me. It took me forever to pay that back. Because when you don't have money, you have to do the minimum payments, right? It took me forever, bro. It sucked. So our system sucks. It really does. It's been destroyed and toxified by people and their perceptions of reality and this new mindset. And here's a question, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what this YN stuff is, these young YNs. I kind of got an idea what it means, but, we can't say it. We can't say it. It's probably going to be racist by just saying YN, because I think N is supposed to be the word. You know what I mean? I was saying this to Lisa last night, man. These young kids, man, they're not normal. They're a different species of human. And I'm not even trying to be funny on that shit. I'm telling you, bro, I'm not trying to be funny. They're a different breed of animal. You know what I'm saying? They're not healthy. They're not mentally right. And so even if we fixed our problems now, we're going to have at least 2 or 3 generations of these psychopaths that are going to come in. It's like, what kind of decisions are they going to make for our country? They're not even speaking like real English anymore. And they're doing that, this weird, they're wearing all this. I don't know, man. It's just, I kind of feel like my dad. You know, when my dad didn't like the long hairs, because all my friends had long hair. So my dad was never a fan of the long hairs. And so now I'm kind of feeling like my dad with this new age type of human. But I don't think that even the long hairs were that extreme, because they were still normal people. They just had long hair and in a band or something. Now there's this real genuine hatred and this desensitization of another person or their life. Like, people don't care. Men aren't the gentlemen that they used to be, and sure as hell, women ain't the women they used to be. I don't know what kind of women are walking out on these streets now, man, but there's some monsters. And I swear to God, some of them swung at me, I'm swinging back. I'm telling you right now, some of these women out there, they're going and swinging with dudes. One swings at me, I'm swinging back, because some of them I'm scared of. And I can't even tell who has a penis and who don't. So that's my defense. I'm going to be like, I swear she was a transgender. I swear she was a transgender. So I hit the bitch in the mouth. So, don't judge. How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know in this crazy ass world we live in? I didn't know she identified as a cat. You know what I'm saying? And one question before I go up. We're going to take this out. I got a question to all of our feminist friends out there that are fighting the big movement. It's kind of ironic how women have fought so hard to become their own independent selves, right? Because of, all this, whatever. So they fought to become their own, right? They're not under the rule of men anymore, or whatever the fuck it is. All to have everything taken over by a man in a dress. Isn't that weird? So they wanted to go and start their own sports and start their own sporting teams, so they do. And so now what? So now they separated themselves from being dependent on men. So now you have men showing up in dresses, and they're promoting it, and they're celebrating it. So now it's going to get to a point that that's going to be their competition. In sports, in dressing rooms, in education, in jobs, in finding another penis that can want to go in a vagina. Because in another 2 generations, transgenderism, right now it's radical. But, it's a Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. Here's the problem. Christian people have high moral standards, and they're not going to take that shit, right? And so what they do is a couple generations, they just breed it out. One generation will be super against it. The next one will be a little less, aggressive. The next one will be a little more lenient, and it'll just get to a point where they'll normalize it. Just like these fucking UFOs. It's like we had UFOs flying all over the damn world, and not just, Lockheed Martin ones. We had real ones. These real ones coming from outer space or the sea or wherever they're coming from, right? Because I have a feeling now that they never left. Nobody gave a shit. It's like it just happened, right? It's like we're not even talking about it anymore. There was freaking things getting shot down, turning into different crafts. The craziest shit. They were coming out of water. They were changing colors. I can't even explain how freaking floored I am that we are literally don't even give a shit right now. We've just moved on. We got fires now to deal with. We got Trump's coming in office. We got some parties coming up. We got shit to do. We got bills to pay. So, it was fun. We did a couple nights where we went and watched the sky. That's how desensitized we become. And the more hyper observant you are on the animalistic tendencies that we have gained in the younger generations, it's frightening. It really is. Hey, check it out, mypillow.com. You got to do it. mypillow.com. Use the code word meatball and get badass discounts. Get the slippers. I'm telling you, I ain't even trying to sell them. I'm just saying, get the slippers, man. If you like things on your feet, I sleep with socks on. You know what I'm saying? I do. The meatball sleeps with his socks on, except on Christmas Eve. Don't know why I said that. Don't know why I threw in the Christmas Eve part. But I do. I sleep with socks on, and I don't like things touching my feet. I'm super ticklish. I don't walk barefooted outside. So I always need things on my feet. So I got the slippers, and they're like real shoes. It's the coolest thing in the world. Aaron Barker said they make toilet seats for 5-gallon. But who gets that job, bro? Who gets the empty it out job? You know, is that a job? Do you let it stack? Or do you got to, dump and hump? You know what I mean? Every time you poop, you got to go empty it. How's that work? Do you poop in a bag? I got questions now, Aaron. Dude, you can't be talking about pooping in buckets while I'm live because you know what I'm saying, bro? Damn. All right, folks. Hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Again, I apologize. StucciMedia.com. I got a subscribe box there. Make sure your asses come on there, subscribe. I kind of redid the website. That's why I question it. I usually had them placed in there, but this is kind of a new face of the website because we're adding a shit ton of videos and a ton of podcasts. Aaron Barker, he's coming on the show. Guess who's going to be producing them? That's right. That's what we were talking about last night. The Meatball's going to be producing Aaron Barker's show. Pay attention to the breakdown because that shit's going next level. I'm hungry. I got to find, I got Big Rich with Disgruntled and Aaron Barker and his show. And between those two shows, man, and you see people, these men that they've been around, man, and they've fought, right? And you believe in them. You believe in them. And so me and Aaron were on the phone last night, mainly me talking for quite a while. I don't know what happened. I think I had a lot of coffee. I think he caught me right at the peak moment. You know what I'm saying? He mentioned something about that. I was a little concerned. I'm like, you calling me an addict, bro? You calling me an addict because I'm talking a lot? But I'm going to start helping produce their show. And so I'm going to be working on some graphics. We got some things coming up, so I'm really excited about that. So keep an eye out for Aaron Barker. He's going to be on Stucci Media. Get on over to StucciMedia.com. Look at all the shows. We're adding them all the time. There's so much to do. It's just a matter of me getting on there and do it. I'm a one-man show. I'm probably going to be looking for help here real soon. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out with me on this Wednesday, freaking hump day. That's it, man. That's all I got. Just don't be an asshole. That's all. Life is tough, man, and I get it. I understand that everybody's going through some tough things right now, man, including me, But for some reason, we all get each other. That's why kind of we're here. We have this weird family, man. We're weird, and I'm okay with that. We're really weird. But everybody that's within the circle understands life a little bit different, and I appreciate all of you for that. I really do. And regardless of how many times you fall, the only thing that matters is just get the fuck back up. Every time, no matter how hard it is. From my family to yours, much love, much respect. I love the hell out of each and every one of you ugly son of a bitches. Hey, you know what I mean? Don't forget rule number 1. What's rule number 1? Don't take shit from nobody. Love you guys.